G'day, this is Artistry Ignited. Just thought I'd pop into the shed here and tidy a few things up. But what I really wanted to talk about was this new solar-powered recirculation pond system that I've kind of been working on for a few weeks now. And it's coming up quite well. I've actually had some luck here with plants growing. I've got some guppies in here that are sort of hiding at the moment. And the whole thing about this system is it's costing me no power at all to run, other than an airline feed, which is from the sort of the air pump back over that side. That air pump actually sort of powers all the other ponds and that, with air bubbling through sponge filters. So I thought I'd set this up, and this has been running for about 1.5 months now, so it's sort of cycled in. And what I've done is I've hooked up another pond here, and I'm just growing some sort of like some foxtail, coontail, or whatever you call it in there, just to help assist with the nitrates. And then I've got a media rod on top of a sort of like an under-gravel bog filter with a sponge inside there, it's powered by air. So the idea is that when the solar panel up the top here kicks in during peak hour daytime, it'll turn this pump on here, which will pump the water up this line here and then out here into this pond. So the water that the fish are dirtying goes into this pond, and because this pond's had all night to clean the nitrates and nitrites out with the plants, it'll actually then pump cleaner water back in. So I don't plan to have any fish in this pond. This pond can just be purely to clean water with the growth of the plants, as well as the biological nature of the gravel. And then at daytime hours, it will come on the solar pump and it will pump this sort of cleaned, refreshed water back into here. Sorry, not pump it in, gravity feed it back into here while it pumps the dirty guppy water back up there. I just thought I'd get this experiment running for maybe a couple of months, and I'll do regular water testing and we'll see how it goes. But just from what I've established with the design, I've elaborated that it's probably going to be quite effective, because I've had the pump system running for 2 days. I've done some tests on the water. pH is the same, 6.5, and the nitrates are really low, if not zero, and so is the ammonia. I do have some guppies in here. I've got these little black guppies, and they're hard to see because this is a dirted bottom pond. I've also got some guppy grass growing in there. As you can see, it's starting to immerse up. And then we've got some of this mossy eggplant in here too, which will spread. And a Kana lily, which I've planted into this sort of like bog filter pot here. And then we've also got some Japanese rush reed here. Please ignore that noise pollution. The Japanese rush reed will also sort of spread around there and take up that bog filter. They're kind of more bog filters that aren't actually bog filters, if that makes sense. They're just sort of sponging up the water, and the plants are just like wetland plants just growing out of them. They just don't have the water flowing through them, but they still will naturally filter the water. But my biggest thing about this experiment is I want to grow this sort of coontail ambulia or foxtail. Please comment below if you know the exact name of this plant. But this plant, I was told, and I've read about myself, that it is very good for removing nitrates. So what I will do is let it grow out there. We'll keep that water crystal clear. I've actually got some more of this plant over in the swordtail pond. I'll just show you how big it can grow. As you can see, I've got some in here which I've started off as a little cutting, and then it's sort of grown up halfway up the height of the pot there. And it's really good for fish to have hiding places with this plant, as well as this plant is a real good water cleaner. This is where I took the cutting from for the solar powered pond experiment over near the shed. I've also put a cutting in here, as you can see, sort of down the bottom there. It's growing out. Claddies seem to be liking it. As you can see, this mossy egg plant, it really sort of spreads and covers the top of your pond, as well as it's a very aesthetically pleasing plant. As you can see, Karma lilies do get out of control. They tend to sort of take over a bit, and so does this Japanese rush reed. Sorry, my waffling on accent. And then Karma lily here sort of started out as one, much like in the new pond over there that I've set up, and then it's just spread everywhere. Got some more mossy eggplant here, which was a cutting from that one over there as well. It's been here for a couple of months. It's spread a bit. And this is the sort of purple Karma lily with the red flower. Yeah, you can use Karma lilies in sort of bog filters, or to create sort of a bit of a sort of like a plant pot land mass, I guess you could call it, wetland mass on top of your pond. And as well as it provides a bit of shade for your fish when it gets sort of grows out a bit, it also helps clean up the water, because as you can see, its roots there have come out and it'll start cleaning up the water. The idea is to try and outcompete this algae with nutrients, so that way you're not having so much algae. There's some of the guppies in there which I was mentioning. So I've started this new system with 3 females and 1 male. They're black guppies, which I actually selected or hand-picked out of the guppy pond over there, which just has a selection of all different breeds of guppies. So these are probably not purebred ones at all, but they're just going to create their own sort of colour chain in here, rather than have them mix with the yellows and all the red ones over there in that other pond system there. But yeah, this solar powered system is just a cheap little $5 solar pump from eBay. I'd like to maybe get one a little bit more expensive, battery pack system, so when the sun goes down it can run overnight for a bit. But for now, we'll trial it with this. The top pond up there, water will just clean up with the plants. It sucks up the nitrates because there's no fish in there creating nitrogen. And then when the solar pump panel here kicks in the daytime during peak hour, it'll pump that clean water back in here, as well as sucking up the dirty water. So think of it as like a natural filter pond. You can build these pretty cheap, you know. You can just use old plant pots, and I've just cut one here to sort of stop the birds getting in, and this is just a coarse sponge filter to stop fish swimming up, because originally I was going to put fish in here, but now I'm not going to. I'm just going to use it as like a natural filter pond for this one. And this is just an overflow for when it rains. And I've got some bricks in here that I use to lift up the pots so your wetland plants are not submerged so much. But yeah, this is the solar powered guppy pond. I'll just see how it turns out. I'll do an update video in a couple of months once it's grown out a bit more. Thank you for hearing me waffle on. This is Artistry Ignited. Tune in again soon.